We're live and ready to go. We are live and ready to rock and roll. You are listening to the 24K Life on the Vibe House, 106.com. Hey, thanks for joining me. If you're on YouTube, make sure you comment, make sure that you reach out, you share your thoughts with us as we do our show. We are always interested in getting input from you, our family, our friends, so that we can continue to produce an amazing offering, amazing show. So, hey, we're going to get kicked off here in just a couple seconds. 1:30 on the nose is where we're going. So lock in, load up, and know that it's your season to be your best. You are listening to the 24K Life on Vibe 106.com. Home of R&B, old school, new school, Motown, hip hop, 90s, 80s, and so much more. Simply the best music 24/7. We are in the study of the Vibe House where we talk wealth, wellness, wisdom, and walking boldly in your purpose every Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm your host, the man, Derick Gant, and around here, we don't chase mediocrity. We dominate and walk in our divinity. The show is about living your absolute best life, your 24K life, mastering your mind, your money, your body, and your soul in order to live boldly and unapologetically at your highest level. Today, we are locking in and framing your fitness and your finances. You know, we have talked about your debt. We've talked about how to begin an investment portfolio. But today, we are talking about the DNA of successful financial and fit individuals to level up their life.
You need to watch this if you struggle with feeling stuck in life. I'll show you how to get the best version of yourself with the 24K Life Code. The 24K Life Code by Derick Gant isn't just a book, it's your blueprint to extraordinary living. Imagine understanding yourself so deeply that your goals, strengths, and passions become crystal clear. That's the power of. But knowing isn't enough. The next step? It's about turning those insights into deliberate moves that lead you to success. And guess what? It's not as hard as you think. Now let's talk mindset and replaces limiting beliefs with a focus on growth and prosperity. It's about seeing opportunities, not obstacles. Finally, we have. Align your daily activities with your true values and watch your life transform. The 24K Life Code is your map to financial stability and a life filled with purpose and abundance. Ready to live unapologetically and authentically? Your greatness awaits.
Yep, your greatness awaits. It is you. It is an inside game. If you don't know that it's an inside game, you're missing the mark because you're looking outside yourself to figure out how to get the best, be the best, and have the best flowing to you. Isn't that a better feeling knowing that things are coming to you versus you out there hunting and chasing? So I'm excited. Hi, Coach Don. How are you? I love you for joining us each and every Sunday. We also have some listeners from Texas, from Tallahassee, from Huntington Beach, where else? Philadelphia. But today, we are talking about your DNA and the DNA that it takes to be fit and have amazing finances. You know, I often ask my clients when they first start working with me, like, let's talk about what you want to give up. Do you want to give up having funds? Do you want to give up your health? Do you want to give up great relationships? I mean, there are only so many hours in a day. And if we're really looking to elevate ourselves, we have to understand that it takes a code, it takes some work, it takes some resilience to be able to master all of the 5 core areas of your life. And that is the 24K Life Code. And it isn't just me blabbing. It's my lifestyle. It's the way I operate. It's the way I make decisions. Is this part of excellence? Is it part of my strategy? Is it part of my code or no? Because it is easy to decide if something's part of who you are or not. And if it's not part of who I am, it's messing up my flow. Coach Don, we talk about flow all the time. It's messing up my flow. So if something's going to inhibit my ability to elevate, I just don't need it as part of my life. Therefore, I live by a 24K life code. We want you to watch the show. We want you to input on the show, and we want you to help figure out what your code is. What is your code? Because trust me, we all have a different code that we should be operating by. If you're living by my standard, you got a problem. And if I'm living by someone else's standard, no matter how successful they may appear to be, that is a problem, because we are all made uniquely, amazingly and uniquely in his image. And we all have a different part of that image. It is our job to tap in. It is our job to let it flow. It is our job to understand how we can help serve the rest of the world. You know, if you really think about it, talking about DNA, you know, there's been so much discovery about how incredibly unique, especially like in the criminal world. You know, there are fingerprints, your blood, your hair, your nails, a skin sample, a saliva sample. I mean, you know, it is incredibly unique. They can identify you by your DNA with just the smallest minute bit of blood, hair. It is incredible what can be done in today's world. You know, we have a really good friend to the show, and her daughter is studying criminology. She wants to be one of those CSI people. And, you know, we ask her about, you know, what she's studying and what she's doing. And it's really interesting, the work and the analysis and the technology that combines to help society figure out who's who. You can go to 23andMe and figure out what area of the universe you were born in and they belong to. What an incredible thing to be able to do. So we're going to apply this DNA concept to you and your ability to level up your financial life, to level up your fitness level in your life. Because if you don't get the drift that your fitness is directly tied to your finances, you're kind of missing the boat. I know that when I'm tired, I don't perform as well. When I don't perform as well, I don't get the same results. And when I don't get the same results, trust me, you don't get paid. You need to be able to show up at a high level on a regular, consistent basis in order to get the results. And trust me, results are all that matters. But today, as we talk about your DNA, understand that you don't get fit by accident. You don't just trip and get fit. Now, luckily, we're all born with some level of fitness, and then we progress to either improve it or ruin it. The same thing goes for your finances. You're not born broke, and you're not born wealthy. You know, you come in alone, you're going to go out alone. But the question becomes, you didn't get wealthy by accident, right? Now, we're not talking about silver spoon type individuals. We're talking about the normal ones of us. And your DNA is the foundation to you getting fit or elevating your finances. So today, for our purposes, DNA stands for discipline, the numbers, and the actions and achievements that it requires for you to level up your financial life. So the first point is, when you take a look at your fitness and finances, because it didn't happen overnight, because you didn't get where you are overnight. And trust me, the first step is for you to acknowledge the role that you play with where you stand right now. You know, I want to be a multi-millionaire, but my decisions and choices up to this point has said, well, you're doing really well, brother, but you're not there yet because you've made some difficult choices. Some of them, you know, were necessary and life altering, like maybe your health or a marriage or something along those lines. But listen, we are where we are by the choices that we have made. And the best thing that you could ever do is accept that and then move forward from there. But we want to talk about the foundation. So even when you mess up, so to speak, you have to reset and reestablish your foundation, your fitness foundation, your financial foundation, your relationships foundations. You have to have a foundation, because most people are building on, you know, sand. They're building their dreams on, man, this might happen. I hope this comes by. I'm going to try. That's all sand. None of that is the foundation that you really want to build anything significant on, right? No budget, that's sand. No schedule for fitness, that's building your life on sand. You're going to get what you give, because we live in a society of reaping and sowing. And if you're not sowing seeds of excellence, if you're not sowing seeds of consistency, you're going to struggle a little bit. And we don't want you to struggle. We want you listening to the show. Now, listen, if you want to participate in the show, we want you to participate in the show, and you can do that by texting the show at 419-972-1922. And for those of you that are driving, you know what? I'm going to tell you again, maybe your passenger can grab the number, 419-972-1922. Now, trust and believe that your fitness starts with a routine and your finances starts with a budget. And they both go hand in hand. I suggest that when you look to start both of these. Depending on how old you are, you don't have a choice. You need to be fit to get to the level that you want to be. You need the tenacity, you need the strength, you need the stability of your fitness to get to the finances. So I'm excited about it. I know that from experience, I went to the gym this morning. It's Sunday. I went and I had to set boundaries. I have to set deal breakers with myself and not allow anyone, anything at any time to come in between the consistency that I'm trying to build. You know that one of our biggest issues is that we're constantly starting over. You know, you might do really well for 2 weeks and then you slip, or you go on vacation, you stop working out, you stop eating well. Maybe you say, I can't cook at home, so I'm just going to do the best I can. And you pick up some fast food. Not going to get you there. You have to figure out a strategy. Even when you're traveling, figure out a strategy to do the best you can to stay on your track, your foundation, your purpose, your point. And when it comes to, you know, your fitness, you may have to sacrifice a day, but you don't have to sacrifice 2 days. You might have to sacrifice a meal, but you don't have to sacrifice your week's worth of meals. So find a way to get it in there and find a way to understand and recognize where you are, what's your base, and to recognize how and what you need to adjust that base to be. So when we talk about your DNA, the first letter is D, and that stands for discipline. And most of us think discipline is a bad thing. That's because our parents took a switch and beat our hind parts when we were younger, or took a belt or something, and you're going to get disciplined, and that usually makes corporal punishment. But in the sense of self-mastery, and that's all we're talking about is self-mastery. You have to master self in order to master or lead anyone else. All these people that want to be leaders, all this information on here, you know, be a leader, but none of these people are leading themselves. And I don't like, you know, just looking at people and passing judgment. That's not my job. My job is to look at myself and pass judgment, to look at my own shortcomings and then figure out if they're short or am I being harsh. But when we look at people out there projecting leadership, projecting, excellence, or what they perceive to be excellence, when they're really projecting hate, or they're projecting, insolence, or some other things that aren't life building, you need to be aware of that. You need to be looking at that. But we want to look at discipline as freedom. I look at it as freedom. I can tell you, I was never so happy when I saw Serena Williams in an interview say that discipline was freedom. And that's because when you know what you're going to do, you don't have to worry about what you're not going to do. You are free to maneuver. You know you're going to get physically fit if you're eating healthy foods. It's as simple as that. So if I discipline myself to eat healthy foods, I have the freedom of knowing I am going to end up being fit. Now, if I just started today, am I going to get fit today? No, but I know I'm on the path. And what else do you really want but to know that what you're doing is the right thing at the right time for the right person and for the right reasons?
I'm sure you've heard the news. Financial freedom is within your reach, thanks to Derick Gant. With over 25 years of experience, Derick's 24K life philosophy transforms everyday challenges into stepping stones for success. Imagine mastering your finances, setting and crushing your goals, and shifting your mindset to elite levels. Derick empowers you with tools for financial freedom and measurable results. His strategies are crafted to ensure you live the life you've always dreamed of. From his book to engaging workshops and online content, Derick's insights are designed just for you. Start your journey today and turn your aspirations into achievements. Visit DerickGant.com. It's time to live your 24K life. Are you ready?
It's time to get ready, And when you say ready, ready for your best life, ready for the things you deserve. Don't you believe that you deserve to live a life of less struggle? You wake up, you don't want to look in the mirror because you don't like what you see, or you're not going to like what you see. When you want to wake up and go, man, I look good, I feel good. I was watching a show with Coach Dawn, and it was a history of black films documentary, and Billy D. Williams was talking about, in that one scene I was coming down the stairs and I immediately fell in love with myself. I was just smitten. And in most society, people will go, oh my God, he's so egotistical, that's so arrogant. But if you don't love you, if you don't fall in love with yourself, how can you ever expect or want anyone else to fall in love with you when you don't love yourself? I told you at the beginning of the show, it's an inside job. And speaking of the show, this show is brought to you by Amen Poet Production Company. For your musical needs, when sound is all you got, visit amenpoet.com. That is amenpoet.com. Listen, our producer is hell-bent on making sure that we deliver solutions and techniques that help you elevate your financial, your fitness, your spiritual life. Now, we're not here thumping the Bible, but we are here thumping a Bible. And it's the Bible of self-mastery. It's the Bible of saying you are in control and your situation is an inside job. So let's take care of what you have inside of you so that it will show outside. Because trust me, no plan, no progress. If you're not strategic on the inside, it is not going to show on the outside. So if we were to finish up our discussion about discipline, I would simply give you this statement. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like doing it. Just think about your workouts. You may not want to work out. You don't want to go to the gym, but man, how do you feel when you go, you do a workout? How do you feel after? Do you feel proud of yourself? Are you excited about the fact that, I did that thing and I did it anyway? Because I can promise you that every time I didn't want to do something and I did it, no matter if it was an amazing workout or a mediocre workout, I was very proud of myself. And that was one additional stepping stone to where I'm going, to what I know I'm supposed to be doing, and the progress that I know I can make. Because listen, I've already talked to you in the past episodes about momentum. We really talked about momentum in the sense of the compound effect, right? That simply means that one great meal today leads to the next great meal, which leads to the next great meal. And when you have enough great meals, because abs are built in the kitchen, when you have enough great meals, you're going to get fit. Now, you definitely want to go get some muscle tone. You definitely want to go get some cardio. But man, it starts with the fork. You need to control the fork. So we want to understand that we have to challenge ourselves. So ask yourself this question. What's the one area where I've lost some structure? At my age, I would tell you that, man, back in the day, I was a disciplined dude. I mean, down to the nth degree. Nobody could talk me off of anything. And then at a certain point, I'm going to say like the late 40s, I decided that I didn't have to be disciplined anymore. I had earned the right to kind of let it loose. But wow, what have I found out? I found out when you let it loose, it gets loose. You know, they say F around and find out. Yeah, you will figure out when you decide that you no longer need to be disciplined and that you're going to just enjoy the fruits of your 45 years of labor, that it will go away really quick. What goes away? Your sharpness, your fitness. If you're not tracking your finances, it will start going away. I mean, you have to make this a lifestyle. And I'm here openly, nakedly saying to you, in the past, I have said to myself, you know what, Derick, you've earned the right to chill. You don't have to do all that. You've earned it. You don't need to prove anything. Yeah, it's not about proving is the problem. It's about you living a standard that you're unwilling to let go, and realizing if you stop living the standard, then you start living the new standard and it's going to be lower. And that's not what we really want to do. So I want you to challenge yourself to figure out where you've lost structure. Is it your body? Is it your bank account? I want you to pick just one. And then I want you to write down one simple habit that you're going to commit to this week. One habit that's going to get you back on track this week. But make it doable. Make it realistic. Make it a win for yourself, because when you set something up, and let's say, for instance, you say, man, I've lost track of my workouts and I know I need to get up at 5 a.m. or I should get up at 5 a.m. But when you set that alarm, you hit snooze and you hit snooze. Those are L's. You started the day taking an L, and that's not going to help you elevate and build momentum. So if you know for a fact that if you set your alarm at 6 versus 5, that you will actually get up and out of the bed and get your day going, set it at 6. That's a win. We need to start by winning. So I'm really saying to you that you're going to pick one thing, you're going to track it, and tracking is the key, because whatever we focus on improves. It's as simple as that. If we focus on what we're eating and we say, I'm going to eat better, and you're focusing on what you're buying at the store, you're focusing on what you're cooking, you're focusing on where you're spending your dollars, you will do better because you're paying attention to it. What you focus on expands. I got that from Lee Harv Eker many years ago. He wrote a book called The Millionaire Mindset. I've read it 4 or 5 times. What you focus on expands. And speaking of expanding, we are serious about expanding our show. So if you would like to participate in the show, if you want to add your 2 cents, you can text us at 419-972-1922, and we will get your responses. We'll get your messages, and we will answer you live on the show. And if for some reason we run out of time, we will make sure that we text you back and get you an answer or address it during the next show. That's 419-972-1922 if you want to participate in the show. I just wanted to share that with you. Do you see how energy flows in? It's an inside out game. You need to let your energy flow into you. And I wanted to demonstrate that. I wanted you to see that's what's happening to you. You need to, some people are just more visual. So we want to talk about your activity. And that is the part that I just challenged you with. Take the steps, discipline, action. Your action is you're going to identify something that you can improve this week, because that is the part that you really need to know. Now, what's the N? So we got DNA. We talked about the D, we talked about the A. What about the N? It's the numbers. That's going back to the tracking. You need to know your numbers. What do you have in the bank account? I had a client that put me in a position where I could meet this other really successful entrepreneur, businessman. So I met this guy, and then I ended up renting office space from him. And I used to go into his office in the mornings, not every morning, but probably 3 days a week. And this guy was worth, $10, $15 million. And every morning he would be the only one in his office at 7 o'clock. I would be the only one, There's only two of us in the entire building, he and I. Go into his office and we would talk, and I'd ask him questions. He was an older gentleman. I was really young. So I needed a mentor, and I donned him my mentor, even if he wanted to or not. And one of the things that I learned from him very quickly is that every day he got a report. Every day his team bought him a report. So at 8 o'clock, we were sitting there talking, 7:30, quarter to 8, his main assistant would come in with a report. And this report had every property that he owned, every bank balance as of last night's close, all of his stock positions. It had his complete net worth on one sheet of paper. And he would look at it and he would make judgments about what needed to happen, what decisions needed further research or information, so that he could adjust and continue to maneuver where he was and what he was doing. He'd look at these things and he'd figure out, hey, maybe we would leverage some more properties. Maybe we should get rid of this property because this property is not doing really well. But he would keep track of it. And in his mind, he was looking at the numbers and he was looking for trends. So you're looking for trends. Am I trending up? See, in the investment world, we want to trend up. Are you trending up or are you trending down? Is your weight trending up or trending down? Now, in that case, you want it to trend down. But you need to know the numbers. So for those of you like myself that are terrified of the truth of the scale, we don't use the scale as a means for ego or for beating yourself up. We use the scale as a measurement of, am I trending up or trending down? Am I trending in the right way? And sometimes when it comes to a scale, you have to use a tape measure, because in the fitness world, muscle is heavier than fat. So you might lose some fat and you gain some muscle, but muscle is heavier than fat. So the scale's not going to tell you that. But trust me, when you put your skirt on, your dress on, your pants on, you're going to know if you're trending in the right direction or not. So we want to do that. We want to know our numbers. We want to be disciplined. We want to know our numbers by tracking them, and we want to take massive action. That's your DNA. And that's the same DNA that all of us needs to do to participate in, to maximize our own personal results. One thing that I know that we've all been groomed for, all of us, at least most of us, and that is instant gratification. It's instant gratification. Did you answer my call? Did you follow my tweet? Did you like my post? Did you respond to me? Did you pick up? We all want, I want food and I want it now. That's why fast food goes nuts. That's why microwaves are so popular. We want it and we want it now. And the problem with that is that if you always choose what's easy in life, everything else is going to be hard. But if you choose what's hard, if you go ahead and cook, if you go to the grocery store, pick the best fruits and produce, okay, and the best meats, and you take that stuff home and you prepare it properly and you cook it yourself with the proper oils, then your fitness is going to be easy. But if you take the easy way by stopping at the fast food joint, your journey is going to be hard. You're not going to get, you might get that instant gratification, but the long-term results are not going to be there. So I want to tell you, you have to undo that mindset of instant gratification. You got to be willing to play the long game. In the investment world, we talk about playing the long game because that's the best way to win. And trust me, I want to win by any means necessary because that's what matters. Results are what matters. And we want the results to be positive, which means we're winning. As I mentioned earlier, be prepared to celebrate small wins. Track your stuff this week. And if you have a great week, celebrate that win. But celebrate, and as soon as you're done, go for week 2. Because the lifestyle isn't built on 7 days. If you're not tracking specifically, then you are not going to win. So you need to be intentional about what you're going to do. I'm going to tell you that if you write yourself a note and say, by the end of this week, I am going to do X, Y, and Z every day. And then at the end of the week, open that note up and see if it's something that you're proud of. They're called I love me letters. And I usually have my students write them when I was when I was teaching associate professor in college. I'd have them write a I love me letter for the semester. What do you want to accomplish this semester? Have them write it, put it in an envelope, seal the envelope, give me the envelope, and I would give it back to them at the end of the semester. And it was better than graduation for most of these kids, because they saw that if they stuck to it and were intentional about it, they could win no matter what. Well, folks, that's the show today. I challenge you to do something greater. I challenge you to understand that if you're not working inside out, you're not working, you're wasting time. But trust me, if you're ever in Ohio or Michigan and you find yourself needing help fast, call Out Today Bail Bonds. They are at 419-944-3495. I pray that you take this opportunity to live your best 24K life. I'm Derick Gant. Be your best. Bring your best. Leave nothing to chance. Oh, I forgot to end the show on YouTube. Sorry about that. Hey, hey, you all. Thanks for joining us. I apologize. When I end the show on the other side, I forget. Have a great week.